It's the age-old question. What's the winter going to be like, right? Well, forecasts are always popping up all around us all the time. A lot of times, they're always different. They're never the same. But I'm going to get into my forecast to give you some insight into what all goes into it, how I put it together, and what I think is going to happen. So first off, here's the things that I'm looking at. Sea surface temperatures, whether we're in an El Nino or La Nina, something called the Arctic Oscillation, snowpack in Siberia, and even solar activity. We'll get into a few of these, not all of them, but enough that kind of gets you to kind of understand what's happening right now. This is what I'm first going to show you. Sea surface temperatures at the equator. Down there, it's really warm. The readings are 2 to 3 degrees above average. When we are in warmer conditions down there at the equator in the Pacific Ocean, that's an El Nino, and we are definitely in one of those this year. So what's that mean for the U.S.? Typically, the Pacific jet stream will bring systems along, and it is going to make things active for the deep south, wet and cooler across Texas, and down across portions of Louisiana, Alabama. Up to the north, though, that polar jet stream, that colder air is locked up to the north, typically bringing warmer conditions. We're right in between, right here. But is this how things are going to shape up? Well, not exactly, because here's why. All El Ninos are different. They can be weak, moderate, strong, or very strong. We are definitely in this kind of strong to very strong category. So we're going to kind of look at some of these years here for a good comparison. To really look at things, we want to look at some of the years that may be the most similar. Here's our peak right now with the temperatures here in 2015. A nice little spike. Let's look for some other spikes. Well, there's one. Looks pretty good. And here's another. So let's look at these years. 82 and 83, 97 and 98. And also some of these other years that were strong El Ninos. Because I want to show you what happened with snowfall, because that's interesting. 3 of the 5 were below average. Some of those were really below average, 9 and 5. There was one that was about 15 inches, and then a couple of years that were slightly above. But the overall trend, and that's what you have to look at in long-term forecasting, are trends. We were below average for the snow. Look at this. This is even more interesting. This is a satellite image of the equator with the sea surface temperatures in 2015. Over here, 97. Very similar. So I really like this year, 1997 to 98, that winter. And I want to look at what happened here in Springfield. We had temperatures above, rain above, snowfall was below. We had about 15 inches of snow. So that's good comparison. That winter might be similar to what we're going to have this winter. We'll get into that here in a second. But there are other things we look at. Something interesting like snowpack in Siberia. Again, this can play a role. What's happening clear up here? Here's why. Snow. This is what this orange color is right here. October 31st, 2014 of last year. Quite a bit of snow up there. When you've got that white ground, that sunlight reflects off of the snow, keeping things colder. You don't trap in more of that heat, okay? So when you've got cold air up here, it can slip down into the northern U.S. So let's compare last year's snowpack to this year's. Watch the graphic change. Quite a bit less. You see how it changed? You've got less snowpack, so that would typically mean maybe some warmer conditions, because not as much colder air could slip down into the U.S. Let's get specific about my forecast. I'm going above average with temperatures this year. As a matter of fact, maybe 1 to 3 degrees above average and maybe on the upper end of that range. Warmer conditions, that colder air staying locked up to the north. That's not to say that we won't have some cold spells, because we will, but overall warmer. Average rain is 11.5 inches. We will be above average there. With warmer weather, we're going to have more liquid precipitation than the frozen stuff, maybe 12 to 15 inches for the season. And then what everybody wants to know about, of course, is the snow. We're looking at snow that's probably going to be below average. Sorry, kids. 10 to 15. But again, that's still 10 to 15 inches of snow. Nothing to sneeze at there. But it's still going to be below average. We had 14 last year. We may even be on the lower end of that range, though. But we will still get some snow events here. And one more thing. I look at severe weather and the chances of it either being above normal or below normal. I think we may have a little better chance for some of those wintertime severe events. We've had some tornadoes in January and even February before. We may have a better opportunity for some of that. Well, there you go. That's a lot, right? Here's the forecast recap. It's going to be a winter not feeling as much like some of our winters in the past, but still, we'll have some good systems that will move through and put down some snow. A little bit warmer than normal with the temperatures. More rainy days than not. Snow, but not as much. And it looks like a better chance for severe weather. And with more of that liquid around, ice could be a little bit more of a possibility for us. So there you go. A lot to kind of digest, right? Well, I go into even more in-depth detail. You can read all about it. Online at KSPR.com, we have posted my entire forecast. And again, there's a lot more in there. We talk about those other things. Arctic oscillation. I know it's confusing, but I get into that how the sun plays a huge role, solar activity. That's all on there at KSPR.com. But right now, if you want some of your questions answered, you can go on to my meteorologist Kevin Lighty Facebook page. That's key right there. If you haven't liked my page, you get on there. We're doing a live stream right now. It's actually happening as we speak. And you can go on, and I'm going to be right there to answer your questions. It's really cool. You can comment right there, and we'll get into any of the questions you may have. Get on there right now and check it out. There you have it, my winter weather outlook. Jerry, Lee?